Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Outlet Podcast. I'm your host, Lindsay Smith, and today our guest is none other than Frank Kaminsky, fan of the show. Frank, thank you for hanging out with us for a second time this season. We're happy to have you again.
Yeah, it's good to be back on again. Hopefully I can give you some more really insightful stuff.
I have a lot of fun stuff planned, so I think it'll work out really well for this episode. So first things first, we have to check in. How are you doing? How are you handling being at home and in a quarantine?
I'm good. I feel like this is a great place to be quarantined given the circumstances. It's been really nice outside. Weather's been great. I have a lot of stuff to do around the house, so it's been good. Obviously, I'd love it to not be in this situation. I'd love to be able to have the freedom to do what I want, but just trying to be responsible and stay at home. So I'm starting to lose it a little bit. I'd be lying if I said otherwise, but I probably would have lost it completely if I was somewhere else.
Yeah, for sure. If it was like cold or if you didn't have a yard, like if you were in New York or something,
Yes.
I would be going crazy. So what's the biggest challenge that you've kind of seen since being home more often? For me, it's like the cleaning aspect because it never ends. And it's so much more than it normally is in my day-to-day life.
Yeah, for me, I've relied on cleaning ladies and a cleaning service for, ever. They come every couple weeks and they stopped doing their service. So I guess this is really the first time I've had to teach myself how to clean up after myself completely. Normally I'm pretty good at like organizing things in my room, making sure like areas don't get too dirty. But when it comes to like dusting and cleaning windows and scrubbing all the countertops and mopping the floors, I've never really done that stuff before. So yeah, that's been kind of a
I'm with you.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I was just saying this the other day. Like, I only know how to clean like basic cleaning. Like, I don't know how to deep clean things.
Yeah,
So
whatever I pay my cleaning ladies, it's not enough.
No,
like,
it's so worth
they're getting a raise once this is over.
Absolutely. All right, so you said that you were kind of losing it a little bit. You did post a video on your Instagram that said you're just kind of making stuff up at this point. Listen, I'm not going to lie. That video gave me a little bit of anxiety because I was so nervous you were going to get hurt.
I know. What's funny about the video is that was like my fourth take. I kept messing things up. So I wanted it to be like, I literally came up with it. I was like, hey, can you just like film me doing this stuff? I think this would be really funny. And I was literally just making up things as I went. And I messed up the first 3 times, like just either dropped something or just didn't do it right, or it wouldn't have been funny. And I messed up a couple times in the last one, but I was just so tired that I just had to keep going. And by the time I jumped in the pool at the end, I thought I was going to like drown. I was so tired. It was just,
I don't blame you.
It was a lot.
I
but
mean,
it was fun.
That's a solid workout.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much been what I've been doing in quarantine, just in a nutshell. I bought all those weights. I've learned what Facebook Marketplace is, and I went on there and bought a bunch of weights and stuff. I did that pretty early on. So I've just had my backyard set up to be kind of like the place to do workouts. Obviously I got a lot of space. The basketball hoop isn't very nice, so I've been trying to go to the parks until they took all the rims down at the parks. So yeah, it's just been kind of set up for me to have things to do around the house. So like, it doesn't feel like I'm kind of confined. Like I'm able to do different things as I go. Obviously having the pool and the hot tub and the nice backyard and everything's just a huge added bonus. But still I'm still losing my mind. When you're doing the same thing every day, day in and day out, and you feel like you can't leave, you kind of got to just make up fun things to do. And that's kind of the point I'm at right now.
Exactly. You just got to kind of keep things a little bit light and find ways to entertain yourself. I did really enjoy the Stone Cold Steve Austin beer smash. That was probably my favorite part of that video. Although I will say jumping into the jacuzzi and the pool with your J's on probably hurt a few people's hearts out there. I'm not going to lie.
Granted, it was just the cross trainer ones. I would have never done it with a pair of retros. But yeah, I mean, I wash my shoes a lot, so I know jumping in water and doing that wouldn't have ruined them. If I knew it would have ruined them, I probably wouldn't have done it. But for the sake of the video, I thought it would be funnier if I just kept everything on.
Also, I mean, like, you have so many different pairs, so
Yeah,
like if one had to go, like you said, you pick one that's not like
I
this.
have so many shoes. It's a nuisance at this point.
I feel like a lot of people won't feel bad for you with that one. I'm
No, I
sorry.
know. And that's like the when I complain about that to people, they're like, well, I was like, I got size 16 feet and I got all these shoes and I run out of space to put them in places. So
And you
like
can't
I'm
really
literally
share them.
there's like 10 boxes over there. Like, oh, so funny enough, you say that. So all my like old ones that I don't really wear or just don't really like, they're just weird colorways. Obviously with being Jordan brand, they kind of just show up at my house. So I don't really have a say, which is great because I never have to like actively go get them. They just kind of come to me. But I have all of them stacked up in the extra garage in my house, and it was open one day and the UPS guy came and he was like, hey, what size shoes are those? And I was like, I wear a 16. He's like, oh, me too. Can I take some? I was like, literally, man, take as many as you want. And he took probably, I mean, he probably took 20 pairs of them. So yeah, that's really the only way I can offload them is the random chance that somebody else wears my size. And
That's amazing.
they're at my house. So
I really like that story because everyone's putting out, like goodies for their delivery drivers and mail people. So, I mean, I feel like going home with 20 pairs of Jordans would be a pretty great day at the office.
He was pretty excited that we wore the same size because, I mean, obviously it's the same guy on the same route. So he's been to our house quite a few times. So he knows I live here. But, yeah, he just asked one day because he saw all of them in the extra. I was like, literally, if you can take all of them, take all of them.
That's awesome. Okay, well, speaking of Jordan, The Last Dance aired this past Sunday. I know you were really excited to see it. So what were your initial thoughts? What do you think so far?
So I have more of like a deep-rooted storyline within like that whole Bulls situation. So I don't know if I haven't really ever talked much about it before, but my aunt Karen is an assistant coach with the Bulls right now. And her first job out of college was working in the ticket office and worked her way up. And Jerry Krause is the person that created her position within the Bulls, which was director of basketball administration. He created that role for her back in the late 80s. So, I mean, her whole story kind of is really interwoven with the whole Jerry Krause storyline. And it's kind of unfortunate because my family has such a great or she and like the rest of our family, like my grandparents had such a good relationship with Jerry Krause that it's just kind of hard to watch like everyone kind of hating on him right now. So like I don't appreciate that aspect of it. Like I understand people have disagreements in professional sports, but I just have a different picture of everything that went on. Just, kind of living it. She's been with the Bulls for 30 years. My uncle's in the documentary as well. He's been on talking about Scottie Pippen's contract situation. So it's just, I knew most of the story going into it, but it's exciting to finally see all the exclusive film.
I mean, I think that's kind of cool that you have a completely different perspective of it too, that you almost have a secondary story to this story that's being told. So, I mean, you should absolutely tell us all your side of it after the documentary is over from your view too.
Yeah.
And
so I know so much of like what went on and, just like kind of the behind the scenes stuff. It's interesting to see how it's being portrayed versus, how I always thought it went. I knew all this stuff that people are just learning about now about how Scottie was upset with his contract situation. How relationships with people and Phil Jackson were kind of just diminished over the course of time while they were winning championships. I kind of knew all that stuff, but, I have kind of a different image of, growing up. I was 5 years old when they won their last championship. Like I can still remember like that stuff, just with my aunt coming back and showing us all the rings and, all that stuff. I just got Chicago. The Bulls were my favorite team growing up. It was, our family was connected to them. We had a big relationship with the team. I used to have my birthday parties at their practice facility. So it's really interesting to see now. Like I said, I got a way different perspective on it than, a lot of different people.
Yeah, I think it's so far I really enjoyed it. And I just kind of think it's cool too, because you have a different perspective. And I feel like I kind of have a little bit of a different perspective because I work in the NBA, so I understand like some of the things that happen behind the scenes that now a lot of people who normally wouldn't get to see that are actually getting to see that
Yeah.
firsthand, which I think is a really great storytelling piece, but very unique at the same time.
They're kind of starting to get like, it's crazy. It's like when these stories come out in the media that you see nowadays, that sometimes it's not always this big happy family that everyone wants to believe it is. Like you just kind of get to see that now. Like they won 6 championships in 8 years, and they're kind of portraying it to be like everybody was completely miserable, when the general public would just assume that it was like the happiest times of their lives. But, you know, even within that, there's still just things that go on behind the scenes that people don't get to see. And, you know, you hear rumors about that kind of stuff, but you never know if it's true.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like the rumors that you do hear come like in a closed circle, a pretty tight circle.
Yeah.
So not like as widely spread. Okay, so one thing that I thought was really funny was the Mikal Bridges tweet the night that the documentary aired. He said, nah, Bron having 90 every game that series, no cap. That's on everything, I'm sorry. And then you quote tweeted it. Happy 420, everybody, which made me laugh really hard. So you think Mikel's like out of his mind for that tweet?
Yeah. Just no. That's not the way it would have went. I mean, I love these debates because like basketball's evolved into what it is now. It wasn't always this way, and I think everyone knows that. But given like the time, you got to realize like LeBron would have grew up in the same time as MJ. So, like, if you take LeBron now and throw him into that situation, yeah, he might be better than MJ was. But if you take MJ and throw him into what LeBron is now, you don't know. Like, you can't make the comparison. So saying he would average 90 points is just – I mean, would he be the best player in the NBA at that time along with MJ? Most likely. Like, that's – I'd say they're 1 and 2 at this point, like, of all time. That's just my personal opinion. But – I think when you try to compare and like say one's better than the other, or one would do this in this era and the other would do this in this era, you just can't know.
I feel like it's
you gotta be on something to think that what Mikal thought. So
I feel like I personally don't like the comparison argument or social media war, whatever you want to call it, just because I feel like it does a disservice to the game in and of itself. Like there are so many really great basketball players and iconic figures within this game. Like, why does there always have to be a 1A and a 1B? Why can't we just appreciate what everyone has done for this game? You know what I mean? Like, you can call so many different people the GOAT if you want to. Like, it's not that big of a deal if one person is named that versus another, in my opinion.
I've had this debate extensively. There's only 2 sports figures that I can think of that come to mind that ever you can just say they are the best without question at what they did, and that's Michael Phelps and Wayne Gretzky. Okay, those are the only 2 people. Everything else, it's kind of a useless debate because you're debating. There's so many greats. Like Wayne Gretzky and Michael Phelps are just so far ahead of whatever their competition was that it's not fair to debate anyone else. But like with the NBA, there's so many people that are just right there at the top. In baseball, in soccer, it's just too hard to compare everyone.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, everyone's got an opinion on it, but I just think that we should all appreciate the full picture here.
Just appreciate greatness when you're witnessing it. That's the best way I can say it.
That's a great way to put it. All right, so real quick, I want to check in with you about how you're doing health-wise. So last week, James and Monty held a media press call, and James said that you're pretty much through the healing process, but you just haven't really had that chance to do, you know, the sports rehabilitation part of it where you're in like playing shape. So how are you feeling health-wise? How's that process been for you?
I feel great. You know, I haven't had pain in quite some time, which is kind of a little bit of the frustrating part, you know, because I wanted to start ramping up and doing more and more because I didn't feel that pain anymore, but you still got to stick with the program, which is, for me, is hard. But the part that stinks the most is that Wednesday when the league got suspended indefinitely was the day that I was cleared to do full basketball workouts. So no. It was like, hey, you're finally cleared to do this, but yeah, the season's over. So
that's hard.
So it's been a little bit frustrating, but I mean, I've been able to start running more and more. Obviously haven't been able to do much basketball work given the circumstances. But I think whenever we do get the opportunity to say, hey, it's full go ahead, I'll be back to normal.
Well, I mean, that's a positive to hear. I know a lot of Suns fans out there will be very stoked to hear that news, that you are definitely back healthy and feeling good. Speaking of kind of working out, you mentioned you're able to run, but you don't really like the basketball court you have at your house. What are some of the things that you are able to do to kind of keep that side of you going?
So I've been doing a lot of weightlifting. I mean, that's really what the only thing I was able to do for those 10 or 12 weeks there, was just work on a lot of different stuff, work on stability, just do a lot of things. Honestly, I've never had the ability to do during a season before. It's unfortunate, but, you know, I had an opportunity to really work on some stuff that I was lacking in. And that's been good. And I feel like that's carried over now to kind of where I'm at. You know, I have some fields and stuff out here, and it's been, like I said, beautiful weather. So I've been able to go to fields and work on different conditioning and running in parking lots. It's all about just at this point trying to build up my workload so that I don't overdo it. I do it at the correct pace so that, like I said, when it is time, I'll be ready to be able to do whatever. You know, that's the part with me. I just want, with me, I just like, I want, when somebody says it's time to go, I want to go. I don't want to like go step by step by step. I want to jump from 1 to 10. And this situation has been good because it's kind of forced me to gradually progress.
Definitely. I mean, it is going to take not just somebody in your position who's coming back from an injury, but I feel like every player in the NBA, it's going to take a little bit of time for you guys to really get back into full game shape for, or if and when the NBA does resume. How long, I mean, if you had to take a guess, like what would you say would be like a time frame for players at this point?
I don't know. I've asked this question to a lot of different people. Obviously we have our Players Association meetings. You talk to people within the staff, other players in the league, what they're hearing from their teams. The messages are just kind of all over the place right now. Nobody really knows. You know, everyone wants to believe that, you know, once this May 1st happens and the quarantine is over, that it's just going to be like, go back to it. And that's just the reality of it, is that's just probably not going to happen. You know, I'd love for it to be, you know, by June 1st, we're back and playing, but you got to put the safety and health of every player and their families first and foremost. So, you know, I don't know what is like, you know, what it was that suspended the league. I don't know what it is that's going to say, hey, okay, it's fine now, let's get back to this. So I'm kind of just hoping and praying that it is something where it's like, hey, we have a vaccination now. You know, if you do get this, you can get over it very quickly, like with this medicine. I think that's what it's going to be. But, you know, I've heard the ideas of going to Vegas and having to quarantine there, and then some teams stay on the East Coast and play there, and then we work in a playoff somehow. I just don't know. I've heard so much stuff at this point that, you know, all of it gets your hopes up, but you, at the same time, you got to have your reservations because we're still at this stay-at-home order. So we'll see. I don't know. I want it to be over so bad because I want to get back to playing. I've been antsy for a long time, but like I said, you got to put the health and safety of everyone first and foremost.
Yeah, absolutely. And I honestly think the NBA has done such a great job of just making sure that that's their driving force, is that health and safety of everyone involved and our entire world, more so than anything else. So I can appreciate that as an employee of this league and a fan of this league. I just think that was really cool to kind of see them be some of the leaders on that front.
Yeah, because I know that they know that everyone's dying to get back out there. Nobody's sitting at home right now going, man, this is exactly what I want to be doing. So, like I said, tough situation, but I know the league has all of our best interests in mind.
Yes, we will get through it together. All right, Frank, we're going to take a quick break to thank our sponsors. So parents and kids can address the issue of bullying in different ways, but we can all work together to help stop bullying. And muststopbullying.org is a great resource to learn about how to recognize when someone is being bullied, how to stop it, and how to prevent it. So if you need tips, head on over to muststopbullying.org. All right, we're going to play a game of Would You Rather. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
I just want you to know.
Right up my alley.
What?
This is right up my alley.
Perfect. I want you to know that I tried to make these a little bit deeper of kind of questions or like harder ones.
See what
So
you got.
it's gonna be fun. Okay, well maybe we'll start with an easy one that I feel like a lot of people ask, but would you rather be able to survive in space or underwater?
In space. No,
Okay.
no, no, no. I take it back. Underwater. In space is too vast. There's just I don't know what's up there.
Do you believe in aliens?
I believe in. See, that's a tough question. Aliens is one thing. Do I believe in alternate universes? Yes.
Okay. So what is your what's your
I,
definition
I
of like
think
an alien versus an
this
alternate
is what I
universe?
think.
Okay.
So we're in this galaxy here, and we don't know what is in this galaxy over here. So if I were to go from this galaxy to this galaxy, what would I find?
What do you think you'll find?
I think I would find something similar to what we have in our galaxy. That's just a personal opinion. I don't know.
Do you think it's further like more advanced than us or the opposite?
I'd say it's probably more advanced than us. Yeah.
I'm with that. Okay, so I also would pick underwater though in this situation because I find the ocean fascinating that it's literally right there and yet we know so little about it. So why do you ultimately want to be able to survive underwater?
Because I feel like if anything were to happen to Earth, I would be able to survive.
Okay, that's a really solid answer. Do you think there are creatures in the ocean that we have
Yeah.
not discovered yet?
Yes. Yes.
Do you
Yes.
think they're like big, like megalodon type
What is it?
sharks, or do you think it's like more
The
people?
Marianas Trench is what, like 37,000 feet underwater?
It's pretty,
Like you
pretty
haven't,
dang far.
we haven't found everything. Like
No,
there's no way. I don't know if it's like, I mean, blue whales and all those things exist and those things are massive. So why isn't there just some massive shark that none of us have ever seen before?
I mean I believe
It
it.
is. I don't
I'm
know.
fully on board with that. There is like so much more life in the ocean that we have no clue about.
Really
Or
going deep with these questions right now.
I'm telling you, this is what we're doing today. Okay, next one. Would you rather be able to have your pet live the entirety of your life or be able to speak to them, but they only live for 2 years?
What pet? What pet are we
Any
talking?
pet you want,
If
whatever one you like the
if
most.
if I'm forced to get a cat, I would pick the 2 years.
Listen, cats are fantastic
Cats are
animals,
awful.
okay?
Cats are
No.
terrible. I hate cats.
I can't with you.
I don't like cats. Just they're weird.
Why?
If given the opportunity, if cats could kill you, they would.
No, they
Yes,
wouldn't.
they would. Yes, yes,
No
yes.
way.
A dog would never do that. So I'm picking if it's a dog, I'm picking the entirety of my life.
Okay.
Because if I found like a dog that was like amazing, I don't see why like yeah, I don't see why I wouldn't want it for my entire life. I would
No,
never
I'm
want to
with
go through
you.
the grieving process of like having this dog and then it dies and then like I'm like okay, I guess it's time for a new one. I don't
Yeah,
want that.
me neither. I feel like especially when it's your very first pet that's like your own pet, not necessarily like a family pet, you have so much more connection and love for that animal because it's all survival is based off of you alone. So
And
I
it's
feel like I would totally pick the live as long as I live too.
yeah, and it's such a sense of accomplishment when you train a pet properly, and like it becomes like I don't know, it's just like works.
Yeah.
The dog knows everything about you, and you know everything about the dog. So
All right, I'm with it. Okay. Would you rather have your entire Google history be made public or all of your DMs
whatever,
ever?
whatever. DMs, DMs,
DMs?
DMs,
What? I'm shocked.
DMs.
Okay.
You can look at my DMs right now if you want to. There's not much in there.
I feel like 90% of people would say Google history for
Like
sure.
most of my DMs are like they're nothing crazy. Like I'll DM some people and just say like your boyfriend sucks, like stuff like that. Um, but like my Google search history, it's nothing like crazy. It's nothing like weird, nothing like
Not going to get you on a watch list.
it's not going to get me like I would not get in trouble for anything of it, but like you would definitely think differently of me. I have researched some topics extensively.
Can you tell us one of those topics?
I am a huge conspiracy theorist.
Oh, I love this. No,
Yeah.
this is so fun. I'm like, I would say, I don't know if I would call myself a conspiracy theorist, but I'm interested in it. I find it fascinating. Like I have a brother who's super into it. So every time we get together, I'm like, so what's on your mind today? What are you thinking?
Yeah, I got a lot of conspiracy theories. It's not that I like believe they're true, but like it's fun to research it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's cool to just get a different perspective on things. All right. So would you rather be 4 years old for your entire life or be 90 years old for your entire life?
4.
Why?
Because people would just do pretty much whatever I want.
True. And everyone does everything for you.
I feel like when you're 90, not necessarily in the case for everyone, but if it was me being 90 years old, like a 7-foot 90-year-old, I just need people doing things for me like all the time.
But don't you think people would want to do things for you?
Huh?
Do you think, I feel like people when you get older, they're more inclined to do things for you.
Yeah, but like you're a child, so like they feel like if I don't do this for this child, he will not be okay.
That's fair. Yeah, I feel like you could definitely get away with a lot more as a 4-year-old.
Yes.
So
like the things I used to get away with when I was a 4-year-old.
4 probably is the right answer there. Okay. Would you rather experience the beginning of Earth or experience the end of Earth?
I feel like that's beginning, and that's pretty easy.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, like, what do you think about the beginning of the Earth? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, well, obviously we're made out to believe that the Big Bang happened, and then it's creating whatever, and then there's the possibility that the Big Bang is still happening, and more galaxy and more universe is still being created. I don't know. I just love to see, because if I figured out what the beginning of the Earth was, I feel like I could just tell people.
True.
Like, that's the thing, like the end of Earth, everyone's going to already know, like, yeah, this is how it ends.
But then you have to also go through the process of like trial and error. Like, do I eat this berry? Is it going to kill me? Can I eat this mushroom? Is it going to make me hallucinate? Like you have to go through that whole thing.
But on the flip side, you're going through, oh, we're all going to die. So, like, you don't have a choice. I'd rather accidentally kill myself eating berries than just like sitting around just being, yep, I'm going to die in like 20 minutes.
I mean, I guess that's fair. I feel like that's a really tough one for me to decide on because both would be incredibly fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm never going to find out how the world ends. But like, if I got information right now on how the world began, I'd instantly become like the most knowledgeable person that's ever lived.
True. And it would be so cool to have that piece of information because everyone wants it.
Yeah, and I'd be that guy. They'd just be like, yep, that's the guy. He knew how the world began.
Yeah.
My name would be in history. But if I saw how the world was ending, I'd just be sitting here like everyone else. And then it's over.
All right, I'll take it. Okay, so would you rather go back to the past and meet loved ones who have passed away, or would you rather go to the future and meet future grandchildren and great-grandchildren?
I think future children and grandchildren.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like we're on opposite pages on a lot of these would you rathers because I feel like going in the past, you would get so much knowledge.
Yeah.
I guess you could get the same thing in the future.
You would get so much. I mean, that one's, of all the ones, that one's probably the hardest for me. Because I don't know. Like, I just don't know. Like, because so much of my family backstory, like, I know it, but, like, I don't have, like, a clear picture because it's not, like, documented or recorded. But also when you're going forward, like, you're like, yes, I am directly responsible for, like, this happening.
Sure.
So you know what I mean? Like, before you, it's everything leading up to you, but then it's, like, everything after, like, what you've created. So I think I'd be more interested in seeing, like, how what I've created develops more so that what's gone into me.
I think the reason why I would pick the past is because I don't really Like, I'm not going to have kids. Like, that's not my thing. So I won't have, like, any real grandchildren.
That's different because I do want kids and stuff. So
that makes a lot more sense in that one.
I haven't found the other component that you need to be having the children yet.
You got a lot of time left.
Not even close. So I guess this is a PSA where call me if you need me.
The DMs are open.
They're open.
Very they're very PG.
Yes. I can't like.
All right. So would you rather be able to play basketball professionally for the rest of your life, but never win a game, or only be able to play for one more season and win every single game?
One more season and win every game.
I feel like that one's an easy one. What if it wasn't one more season? It was just one season total. So like your rookie season, that was it.
And I won every game, including a championship?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that.
Okay. I mean, I figured that one would be pretty easy.
For me, it's about, like, so much is about winning and losing, and I can't stand losing in anything. So I know everyone says that, but, like, I literally take it to extreme levels in everything. Like Monopoly, like we play a game called Fibbage. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. That's what we've been playing a lot. It's where everyone makes up a lie and then you guess, and then you got to guess the right answer, and everyone's lies are in. And you get points for when people guess your lie, and you get points for when you guess the correct answer. I can't stand it when people beat me. Like I can't. It just does not compute in my brain. So, I didn't win a high school state championship. I lost when my team was number 1 in state. I went to the Final Four twice and lost both times. Once in the Final Four, once in the national championship. So if I would have won that championship my rookie year and they said, okay, you're done, I'd have been like, all right, I did it.
Yeah. I mean, and then you can still find ways to be around the game, even if you're not a player. So you can still have that love and passion fulfilled. And
you'd be on the only team ever to go 82-0 and win the championship undefeated. So
true. So you'd be forever in the history books, which would be pretty great. So maybe I need to tweak that question for next time, make it a little bit harder. Yeah. All right, last one. Would you rather be able to talk to animals or read minds?
Read minds.
Okay. Would you want an on and off switch, or just constantly reading what everyone around you is like thinking?
Yeah, I feel like you need an on-off switch. I feel like that's the only way it works.
I mean, I feel like there would be people whose minds I would not want to know what they were thinking.
I don't know. I'd just read everyone's mind.
Really?
I would do it.
Do you think it's because you would be just curious what they're saying, or would it be because like you could utilize that information?
I think it's both. I don't know. It's tough because like you probably hear things you don't want to hear about yourself, but also at the same time, like if I'm reading your mind and you actually truly hate me deep down, I know I could do things to you that would just, without you ever knowing that I know what you're thinking. Like it'd be easy.
Yeah.
And I feel like dating would be just so much easier.
True.
Like if you go on like a date with someone and you read their mind and you're like, this guy sucks. You just be like, all right, I don't like you. Bye.
True. But I feel like that's kind of cheating at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? But yeah. I guess reading minds in and of itself is kind of cheating in every aspect of it.
Yeah. But that wouldn't be the superpower I would ever choose given the opportunity.
What would be your
teleportation? Not even close.
That's a solid one.
You've seen the movie Jumper, right?
Yeah.
That.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I'm in a toss-up between teleportation and then time control. Because I feel like time control would be pretty good.
I feel like I would mess that up.
True. But I don't necessarily need to go back.
I would go back in time and like just completely destroy something. I
believe that 100%, to be honest with you. I feel like for me, I would just want to be able to like pause moments. Yeah. Like if I'm tired and I just need like a 30-minute nap, like just pause the day and take a nap, you know?
That's true.
Like I know that's such a lame reason. Like you have
to like jump from place to place like instantaneously. Like your friend across the country is like, hey, you want to hang out? Sure. You're there.
I mean, you're right. That would be pretty dope because I have a lot of friends who don't live in Phoenix, and that would be nice. And plus, if you do get vacation time, like, you know, most people get like 3 weeks of vacation or 2 weeks of vacation a year. You don't have to factor in any travel time. You're just there and you're back.
Yep.
And weekends would be way cooler. So, all right, you got me. You sold me on teleportation. I'm with it. Okay. All right, we're going to take one more break to give our sponsors some more love. So, guys, you may be thinking that during times of social distancing, you don't have to worry about whether or not your child is being bullied or bullying others. But we all know cyberbullying is a type of bullying that happens through social media, text messages, or emails. And if you want to know more about how to protect your kids or yourself from cyberbullying, just head to muststopbullying.org for a lot of great tips and help. All right, Frank, before I let you go, just wanted to check in with you on, it's not the end of the season necessarily yet, but just how was your first season with the Phoenix Suns, and what did you enjoy the most about this squad?
I first and foremost, this place isn't like, this organization is amazing. Like, just from top to bottom, all the people and everything like kind of welcomed me with open arms, like almost immediately when I got here. I was really nervous going from the transition from being somewhere else for the first 4 years and being the only thing I knew in the NBA to going somewhere else. I was kind of nervous about that, but it's been good. And like, you can see, we have a blueprint here and a foundation of how we move forward and how we finally get over the hump and get back in the playoffs and start competing. And that's something I take a lot of pride in. It's something I'm working towards, something I'm hoping I get to stick around and be a part of for quite some time. So, I love it here. I love the people here. I love the organization, and it's been great. I can't speak highly enough of the Suns.
Okay, now what about the fan base? Because I know you have been in the community quite a bit this season, kind of getting to know everyone, giving back to this community. Like you said, we kind of embraced you, but you also really embraced this community as well.
Yeah, it's the first time I felt where I can like go out in the community and kind of be myself. Just do things that, I'm really passionate about. Whether it's visiting the children's hospital, doing small things with basketball out in the community, doing things around the arena, having kids come and run camps. It's been so much fun. And we have such a loyal fan base here. Really, like, when you go to the games, you start to see the same group of people going crazy and having super fans. And I got a little bit of experience with that, but not like on the scale that it is here. Through social media and all that stuff, just the positivity and like the support that you're shown constantly. Like, when I got hurt, just like the messages from everyone and everything, that kind of just sticks in the back of your mind. Like, hey, I guess people really are like, they do actually care about you here. They want you to get better because they want you to be out there and playing. And that's something that's really important to me. Just, having that connection with your fan base and them showing so much support, even when, you're not at that level that you want to be at yet. So it gives you like an idea in your head that when we do finally reach that level, they're just going to go absolutely crazy. And I can't wait for that.
All right, Frank. Well, me and my cat say goodbye. Thank you for hanging out with us. Look how cute she is. Like, how could you not love this face?
I'm good.
All right, but for real, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It was a really fun time. Thank you for going in depth with me on Would You Rathers. I'm getting a little weird this time around.
That's what I'm good for.
Looking forward to the next time we get to have you on. Hopefully back when we're able to be face-to-face and basketball is back in action. But until then, stay safe and stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.